Hello! Today we're going to be talking about some of the best investment ideas that are out there, just top 5. And most people who talk about investment ideas, they're always talking about the same boring ass crap that is just it's very typical. Oh, buy index funds, buy S&P, buy Nasdaq, get to some bonds, get a high interest savings account, put a little in real estate here and there. But what about if you could do things that are going to provide opportunity for you to actually make 100 times potentially of your money? Don't put money in these small lane kind of investment ideas that don't really move the needle all that much. Consider, I'll give you an example. Something that I think is a fantastic investment idea are the two cryptos, Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think both of them over the next few years I think they have a potential to go up quite dramatically. I think, and just this year alone, as far as I know, I think it went up 140% for Bitcoin, as far as I know. So I think that that's a sign that this is something that you should actually have a portion of your portfolio in it, because it is actually doing pretty well, and you should consider it. Because what else do you have out there that's going to do that? Is an S&P going to go up 100 times in 4 years? No way. It's just not going to happen. So I'm not saying to put all of your money in Bitcoin. I certainly don't. But the most important thing is when you are working with your portfolio, it's a good idea to actually put 20% into the most risky and most aggressive kinds of assets, because that will really move the needle. And you're not putting all your money, it's 20%. That's really going to potentially really move the needle in a very positive direction. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, very good choices. Now, secondly, you know, a lot of the fancy people out there, they get their IPOs, and you think, oh, I'm locked out of that, I can't take advantage of that. Where I found this site called Shares Post, and I actually haven't gone through it, but I think I'm going to look into this very seriously, where you can actually buy these stocks of these companies that have not yet gone onto the public market. And the one I would want to get is Airbnb, because I think Airbnb, I mean, not right now. I think the great thing is, I think one thing I think would be cool is if Airbnb were to do the public offering right now and have it crash and buy it cheap, because I think Airbnb is I think it's going to actually be a very big company long term. I just think that it can actually compete really well with the hotels by keeping a low cost structure. Having it based upon culture, I think, is a great part of it. So I will be looking at Shares Post, because the nice thing about buying stocks before they're public is that oftentimes you're getting it at a discount. That's why everyone wants the IPO. You don't want the stocks once it's on the public markets, because oftentimes it's a little bit too late. Think about if you bought Google or Amazon before they went public. That would have provided you with an enormous advantage. So I think that all of us wish we could take advantage of the opportunities to buy these companies while they are in private hands. And Shares Post is one. I don't know if I think there is even a thing called Nasdaq Private Market. So I think these are things to delve into, because if you want the things that are going to go up the most, you have to get it before other people are, and that's why I recommend that. Another thing that I think is a great alternative asset would be royalties. I found this company called Royalty Exchange, and they sell royalties to movies, music, television shows. I actually chatted with someone with the company, because I was curious, can you just buy a portion of these royalties? Because I think that would be cool, just to buy a portion. But unfortunately, you have to buy the whole total royalty. You cannot split it up into fractions. So you could theoretically be the proud owner of like Dumb and Dumber or Trading Places. Those are on the list. And another example of something that they were licensing was the royalties to the trademark Cherry Garcia, like the way it's drawn on the Ben and Jerry's ice cream. Yeah, you might think, wait a minute, they actually licensed that? Yep. There are people who actually receive money for that, which is pretty surprising. Are you surprised about that?
I think there was one that was also offering the Song of the South by Alabama.
Really?
I don't think it's going to be making that much money this year.
Song of the South? You mean that was the song on there? Or I thought it was Sweet Home Alabama.
No,
or
Song of the South.
Okay, I don't know where.
I'm pretty sure that's probably.
Is that in the Disney movie?
No.
No, it's just, it is, okay.
Band Alabama.
I see, okay. Yeah, I saw it. I actually was on the site today and I noticed that.
I think it was $2,000 or something.
Now, one of the great things about the site though is the return, the amount of money you're paying for the royalties is actually not that bad actually. You know, some stock like Amazon is insane. You have to pay like 100 times present earnings, or like even like a company like Starbucks, I think it's like maybe in the 30 to 35, and that's kind of really high to pay 35 years of earnings in order to get that stock. Whereas when it comes down to royalties, it's not bad at all. It's like 3 or 4 years worth. I think it's because it's more speculative. We don't really know how much these movies are going to make, because movies and television shows and music are supposed to go down in value over time, because supposedly they're going to be better movies and better TV shows. I know some of you are skeptical about that, saying everything made after 1970 is garbage, and you might actually be right on that. But so that's one reason why the royalties they kind of actually are priced very reasonably. So I think you should take a look at it. And number 4, as an alternative asset, I think it has to be gold. I think gold is quite great. I don't think it's going anywhere but up long term, because every country in the world is spending an enormous amount of money degrading their currency. It's really going down the toilet pretty fast, and that's something to consider. Because how do you think these $1 trillion deficits are paid for? People used to think, well, China just buys our debt, or people will buy treasuries. Well, we're at a point where the government is buying the treasury, so that shows you how broke we are. So we're so broke that we're borrowing to pay for our borrowing. That's the kind of insanity we're at. So if you are aware of that, you can definitely try to mitigate this risk by buying good old gold, because it's definitely a good source of long-term value. And the last idea on how to invest, it would be that you have to smash the like button, because it instantly pays off incredible dividends for you. But just joking. So one other idea that I think that doesn't require much of investment but can provide you an incredible return on equity, but does require effort, would be Shopify. If you have some idea of something you think is really cool, you don't be shy. Create a Shopify store. It doesn't cost much. I think it's like something like 25 bucks or something like that. And if you have an idea that actually resonates with people will actually buy the item. So it actually would provide you with a greater net return than if you even put that $100 into like a Vanguard ETF. If you put this money into Vanguard ETF, okay, maybe in 7 years it doubles. Whereas if you put it into Shopify, you start coming up with some investment. With some ideas, like maybe a print on demand or drop shipping or something of that sort. Maybe it provides you with 1,000% benefit return. So that's something to consider. I think it's always a good idea to think about what will deliver the absolute highest return, not just something that is easy. Because investing in index funds, that's very easy, but you could also use the money to grow a lot more if you are hands-on. So that's all I have for today. So you definitely should smash the like button. It really helps with the Google algorithm. I really appreciate all the positive feedback, even negative feedback. I appreciate hearing from all of you, actually, because it actually helps me to realize how we can make this channel better. And definitely subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell. Talk to you in the next video.